Hi, welcome to Finding Your Cub. This is 12 Stone's newish podcast. This is only our 4th episode, and we've been having fun and learning lots. And I'm so excited for my guest today, Rachael Neva. She is photographer extraordinaire. She's an artist. Photography is art, but she makes her own jewelry. I don't know. She's so multi-talented, and already just having her here for setup today helped me with a couple of things. It's still been somewhat of an amateur hour, so thank you. I told her before we started too, thanks for being one of the first guests. All of my first guests, I'm so thankful for because we're learning as we go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's life, right? But
Doing it.
So welcome, Rachael.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
I know. I was really excited too. Just a little backstory. I didn't meet Rachael until 12 Stones opened. And most likely she came in for a chai. I think that's what we figured.
It is.
And I don't know how we started talking, but it was just very easy and natural. And I know we've had a lot of God conversations. And I don't mean just conversations about God. I mean whatever day or time of the day it just was like, okay, this was like an appointed time for us to talk, because either something I said or something you said was something like we needed to hear. Mm-hmm. And it's just been, I don't even get to see Rachael that much, but every time I see her, it's kind of a ray of sunshine. And maybe it's just like a quick hug or just a quick hello, or maybe we get to have a conversation, but it's always a blessing. So I want you to know that you're a blessing.
Well, I appreciate that. It's the same for me. And I'm always like, I hope she's in here, even if I can just catch 30 seconds of Dina.
Oh, well, thank you. That's sweet.
It's been great getting to know you as well.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, and then we were talking too, because I always intentionally choose my mug or what I'm drinking my coffee from. And I was thinking about our interview, and I have this mug at home. I've had it for years. It came from a little pottery place in Hebron, North Dakota, called Dakota Clay Works. And it really reminds me of Rachael. That's why, I chose it because it's, what were we calling it? Gypsy country, boho country.
Yeah.
It's totally like her style. It's probably maybe a little bit what I'd like my style to be. I mean, I can be a country girl too, but that's why I love the mug. And I'm like, this just reminds me of Rachael, and it's perfect for the interview. And then we were talking, she had a mug she almost brought in. You talk about that, because it was so funny, because I'm like, oh, I should have brought it for the interview.
I was saying that I think in one of your previous podcasts, you were talking about how like the mug sets the tone, or the mug is kind of like part of the experience.
Yes, absolutely.
That's totally true. Like, I might have a mug I got from Arizona, and one of my best friends lives in Phoenix, Arizona. And so I got it when I was out visiting and doing a shoot, actually. So I brought it home, but I use it all the time because here in North Dakota, we don't get a lot of sun, but it has the cactuses and the sunshine. And I thought, man, I should just bring that mug for my interview at Dina, but here I am without my mug.
Next time.
Guess what I got?
Yeah. So she has the branding. She's representing 12 Stones, and but we talk about that because for real, the mugs, I think it makes coffee taste better, and sometimes it just shows you your vision for the day. I know that sounds silly, but that's why I'm intentional with what I drink from sometimes too. It gives you that little extra, I don't know, oomph, or it's a memory that brings a smile to your face. And let's be real, winters in North Dakota, you sometimes just need a reminder of the sunshine. And a reminder of the sunshine and warmth of Arizona, right?
Yeah. Oh, boy, do we ever.
Yeah. But hey, we're already in February, and this might air in early March. We'll see. But either way, we're every day is a day closer to spring.
Absolutely.
I mean, I just realized that's, of course, every day is a day. But,
it's like, it's almost here.
Yes.
It's a marathon to to summer around here.
It is. It really is. But we should be thankful we haven't gotten a really horrible winter. We haven't.
Yeah.
But still, when you like the warmth and the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a creature of the sun. I love being in the sun.
Me too.
And even when we've had nice days, we've had a really mild winter, but even when we've had nice days, it's like, those are the days I can't be outside, and it's just been
harder.
painful.
Yeah, definitely. As a photographer, I know you love to be outside shooting just as much as you love to be in the studio. And so I would imagine, well, plus spring is probably getting into your really busy season.
Yeah, spring starts to pick up.
Yeah,
for sure. We still deal with the wind and the rain and the mud.
In North Dakota. What?
So yeah, it's really kind of like, I don't know if there's a good season. Sometimes it's like, I was waiting for this, but now it's just windy. But you know, I grew up in Wyoming. Wind was, it's worse there than here, so I can't complain.
It just means we have to find the beauty in every season.
Yes.
And that segues nicely too, because one gift, one of the many gifts that Rachael has is finding beauty through photography, but it's more than that. It's like finding the inner beauty of people and things to come out. And so what I want to talk about first is something that really impacted me was the 40 over 40 project that you did. I want you to talk a little bit about your heart behind that, what it actually is. I don't know, maybe where you're at with it. And then I want to talk a little bit about my experience with it, because I was impacted more than I ever thought I would be by doing it. So yeah, you tell us about it.
I love that. So the 40 over 40 project, I started that, I don't know, I want to say 3 years ago now. It's been a while. And what it is just photographing 40 women over the age of 40 in a year. And the very first year I did that, I actually did get to my 40 women, which was incredible. I kind of started doing that because I felt like I had just turned 40 and it was a demographic that hadn't been reached or I guess highlighted in that way in our area. And I just felt like there's just like, first of all, you come into a new confidence when you turn 40. I think for the most part, that's what kind of I've gotten from a lot of women. But we've just all had such a wide array of experiences in our lives. And then when we kind of come into a season where we're okay with who we are, or we feel maybe we're worthy enough to be photographed again. A lot of people haven't been photographed since high school senior, a wedding, and or a child's wedding. So it's just been such a beautiful thing just to kind of pull those beauty out of people's lives and the stories they tell and things that they've overcome. And it also, I'm just kind of coming around to where I'm realizing some of the things that I've done or shot have been a blessing to others, but like also such a blessing to me because I was able to grow through hearing some of those stories. Some of the stories kind of broke me in a way that it caused me to do some inner healing as well. So it's just been such a beautiful thing. A little bit of burnout at the end of it because it just felt heavy, but that was just some areas in my own life that I needed to seek healing and ask God to work through. So yeah, it's been like a full circle project for me, just the opportunity to work with so many amazing women in our community and state of North Dakota. I had people traveling in and things like that. So yeah, it's been super fun.
Yeah, and I think, so going back to when I first found out about it, I think it was just a conversation that you and I were having on a day that you stopped into 12 Stones. And what resonated with me is just your heart for women to really know their worth in the kingdom of God. And that spoke to me because that's a ministry that's close to my heart. For a while, I co-led a women's ministry, kind of teaching on that and testifying to that. But I guess what I wasn't expecting was to actually want to get photographed. I don't particularly like to be photographed because I don't know. It usually takes me about 20 times to get even a good selfie. Like, it's just kind of funny. And I've always been like that. I've always said, oh, I'm not really photogenic or, whatever, or I'm not comfortable in front of a camera. But I started thinking about it. I think it was maybe 2 years ago. It was in October, I think, when I did the photo shoot with you. I believe it was the year I turned 50.
Okay. Yes.
Because I'll be turning 52 here. And that was a harder birthday for me than like turning 40. And so I think that I was sort of surprised with some certain things I was struggling with even in that. And so I just really felt this nudge, like I should do it, and so I ended up signing up. And first of all, Rachel makes you feel so comfortable in front of the camera. Oh my gosh. Like you're laughing and I had so much fun. Like I remember being nervous, like the day of, and being like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? And she has it set up. So you go in and you get your hair and your makeup done. And that was fun too. And then I just remember the photo shoot, like I said, really feeling confident. Actually, you made me feel confident in front of the camera. And you have such a way of capturing the best, I guess, in people and putting them at ease. And I remember too, even after the photos came back and I had posted one or a few online, and someone that I know, their comment still sticks with me because they said, oh my gosh, Dina, like she totally captured who you are. Cause it was this one of the pictures where I'm like kind of laughing and you caught me midway. Like I'm not even aware like that I'm really being photographed. I mean, that's when you know that it's a good session because you're so at ease.
Yeah.
And I just think too, like it profoundly affected me deeply in a way where I saw myself different. And, oh my gosh. Okay. I'm not tearing up. She grabbed Kleenexes because this happens sometimes when we talk. But I'm like, no, I'm not gonna.
Yeah. Here, let me pinch you.
I don't know. Sometimes my reflex is to punch. But all joking aside, it really did have this. I had a deeper revelation of my worth in the kingdom of God just through that. I remember walking into your studio and you had a sign and it said, Dina, you are worthy. And that was huge. It was a small touch, but it wasn't a small gesture. And I know you're so intentional about all of that. So I could just see your heart behind it and your passion for it. And it just made me love you more because I just understanding your heart for that in an even greater way. And really what a beautiful impact that you're having, that you had through that project. And I'm sure you've heard other testimony from women to the same. And then, yeah, just that's all I wanted to say. I guess I could go on, but I want to hear more from you.
Well, yeah, I'm one thing that I've been able to just speak into people's lives while they were coming back for their process of choosing the images. Like we pull your images up on this big screen TV and, like it's not edited.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite parts. Like some photographers would only bring you back and just show you the edits.
Yeah.
And then go, okay, which ones do you want? I like to bring you back and show you how people see you and how beautiful you are and how you are worthy. Um, and just how precious that is to everyone around you. And for some people, for the first time, they've saw each other or saw themselves in that light.
Yeah.
And it's unedited. It's such a beautiful, I'm getting like chills because that is part of the process that I love the most, is just getting to sit back and watch you see your images for the first time and you love them.
Yeah.
And we're having to narrow them down because your package or whatever that you've chose. And that's like the fun part for me, is to go, sit back and just reflect on the fact that this is how people see you, and you're not edited, and this is like you loving yourself for maybe for the first time. Some people have never been photographed well.
Yeah.
And that's like not just a nod to me, that's just a fact. So it's just been such a beautiful opportunity to just sow the seed of self-worth and worthiness and confidence. And I had one gal that came in, her daughter was getting married that summer, and she just said, I just never feel like I look good in photos. And so her whole reasoning behind coming in was so that when she was at the wedding, she felt confident. And she totally did. She like sent me back after the wedding. She's like, I just feel so good. I knew what to do. And I think it wasn't even about the photograph. It was just about her feeling confident.
Yeah.
And accepting who she is, and that she is beautiful in this stage of life. So it just,
it's so true.
I could go on and on about it.
It's so true, because it is like a boost of self-confidence. Just the whole session with you, and then going through like you were saying, going through the pictures afterwards, and just how you even, I don't know, there's a teaching through the process actually too of the photo shoot. And for me too, and I thought this as well when you did our oldest daughter's senior photos. It's beautiful watching you do your thing. I just have to say that too, because I just think it's so fun when people are using the gifts God gave them, and just flourishing in that. It's a beautiful thing to actually witness and watch as well.
Yeah.
And then just going back to that photo shoot, the 40 over 40 photo shoot, it's funny because I ended up really having a little bit of, branding photos came out of that. And I know I've always, to be honest, kind of thought, well, what's the point of branding photos? I mean, no, I get them for certain.
Yeah.
It was more for me, like, what would be the point of branding photos, for, 12 Stones Coffee? Let me just say that's such wrong thinking, so short-sighted. And I'm so thankful for the pictures that came out of that. One of them, two of them are actually being used for the podcast branding. And that's why I'm like, wow. I mean, there's so much value in that. It's a powerful tool. And it's even, again, was a confidence booster for me, that even I saw myself as a businesswoman. I know that sounds funny, because I used to work in a corporate job and I was confident in it. But I think being an entrepreneur and starting this business, which is a dream business, or starting 12 Stones, I think there's, if anyone knows what imposter syndrome is, that can like sneak in. And that's like that little voice that you really have to shut up. That's like, oh, you're not really, you're not a true business owner because you don't really know what you're doing. You've never done, you didn't, you don't have a business degree, all the voices that come into your head, that you just have to really tell them to shut up. And I like to go back to the Word of God. And I know this is a dream that God's given me. I know that a lot of what you do God has spoken to you that this is what you're supposed to do, and you stand on that, and you learn everything you can, and you steward it well, but you also trust that He's equipped you for it. And and so I think it's just the whole thing was a beautiful process to go through. And so
I love that.
Yeah. Well, I loved it too.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I love it. It's so nice to hear it again, because there's been a period of time where I'm like, do I do this again? Was this as impactful? And I just, it's nice to hear it, because I've gone through some waves of excitement and drawbacks, and am I doing the right thing in different areas? And it's just nice to hear kind of a 2-year view of what I was doing, and where the reasons I started. And I'm just kind of in a season where I'm coming back to you and I talked about this.
No.
Every time I come in, okay, so God speaks things to me, and then I come in and Dina is God's speaking the same thing to you.
Yeah.
Remember we were talking about this, and I can't remember when that was even, but I was like, God's kind of bringing me back to why He gave me this gift, not why I'm doing photography, but why He gave me this gift in the first place. And am I stewarding that gift?
That was just a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way that can be impactful, because the last thing that I want to do is not be impactful.
Right.
I don't want to just photograph people.
Yeah.
I don't want to just make you look perfect or, slim or
those are just perks.
Yeah. It's the bourgeon, the thing, right? I don't know how to say it, but and all those things are beautiful, but it's just, I don't know. It's just so nice to hear that it's a lasting impact. And you're not the first one to say that, so I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm just kind of coming back to where, okay, God didn't just throw this seed out on hard soil. I need to be sowing those seeds, and where can it be most impactful for the kingdom without putting myself out?
Yes.
So, which can be an issue when you're a business owner, a small business owner, because you want to be really impactful and you want to help all these people, but you also have to protect yourself and your peace.
It's so funny that you just said that, because in the last episode, my manager, Kirsten, and I talked about the need to abide and just rest in God and sit with Him. And I talked a little bit in there about how after the first year we were open, I was in the physical state of, and mental a little bit too, of burnout. And so you do have to protect that, because that's not what God wants. And so it is recognizing when you need to have that season to just rest. And when you're in a busy season, to take those moments and to just abide with God and to refresh, because we don't do any of this in our own strength. We've talked about this before. And it's when we really fall into that, really just relying on our own strength and trying to control everything, that's dangerous waters, for many reasons. But also I wanted to go back along the same lines of, you were kind of talking about, I can't remember if you already said this while we've been live, but before the interview, you were talking about 40 over 40, do you continue to do it, or, and I think sometimes there are just seasons of things, and that's okay too, because you were talking about planting the seed. That seed doesn't die when it's planted with God. And I think that this project, whether you do more, whether you take a break, whatever happens, it continues to bear fruit, because it continues to bear fruit. Like I testified in my life, I share it with other people, the impact, and even talking to others about the need to really recognize our worth, our true worth as daughters of God. And I think it reverberates, right? It just continues on. Nothing. So it's a beautiful thing. Whatever you decide to do, just know it will continue to bear fruit.
Yeah.
Whether you do more photo shoots under that same title or whatever, however you want to put it.
Yeah, I might have to rename it like 10 under 40 or over 40.
Right.
Yeah, that's my hang up is I'm like, if I'm not going to go for the 40 women, is this what I need to be doing? And it's really like the 40 over 40 project was more so just to recognize and elevate and highlight women over 40, period.
Yes.
I mean, yes, there was that. I want to photograph 40 women, but last year I photographed probably 10 women over 40 intentionally. They came in under that project. So yeah, I'm always actually photographing. Like, I don't want anyone to ever feel like I wouldn't photograph them.
Yeah.
There's certain genres I would not photograph you in, but that aside, I mean, I definitely will always photograph women over the age of 40.
Because really the heart and your vision for it the heart of the vision is the same as is what I'm trying to say. And so the number or the vision kind of changes.
Yes. Yeah.
And how you activate the vision. I don't know if that's the right way to put it. But yeah, sometimes we get, like, you can't get stuck on that. It's got to be 40 over 40, like you were saying.
And that's where I kind of am like, if I'm not going 40 women, can I call it, and that's a business owner thing.
Yeah.
You just analysis paralysis, and then you do none of it.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you're like, am I just a poser if I'm saying I'm doing 40, but I'm not actually trying to do 40 this year?
Yeah. It's so true. Like the overthinking, and then it creates this paralysis that you.
And if you have late, I just found I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure I have ADD or ADHD, some sort of form. So if I'm thinking this and then this pops up, and then it's pretty soon I do none of it. So
yeah, I hear you.
That's the stage.
That's the
age in the stage.
I was just, you beat me to it. I was just going to say it, but not as fun as that. It's the age in the stage. I'm going to use that. I like that. I really like that.
I love this age and stage. It's just, there's pieces of it that are just confusing.
I'm learning to embrace it. I don't know if I can say I love it. I'm learning to embrace it and find beauty in it. We talked about the seasons of weather, the seasons of life. You got to find beauty in all of it. And that's part of the fun of the journey.
Yeah.
The age and the state. Okay. I love that.
Write that down, because I've never heard that before.
Well, it's good that it's recorded.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
It's out there, and nobody can steal the credit from you, because
Yes.
Yeah, I can't say I came up with it, so don't worry. But I'm going to use it. So I think too, I want to talk about another exciting project that you've brought to our city. Just before we run out of time.
Yeah.
How are we doing on time? We're good. Okay. So I actually have the first issue that came out. This won't mean anything to people that are just listening, but to those that are watching, I'm going to hold it up here. It's going to look backwards, but
Bio Bismarck Mandan.
Yeah, this is the first issue, and
24.
Comes out in the fall. That's the plan, right?
Yeah.
I'm excited because 12 Stones Coffee is going to be part of 2025, the fall 2025 issue.
So excited.
First of all, I just want to say congrats, because it is so, I guess I don't need to leaf through it here while we're interviewing, but it is so well done.
Thank you.
And your heart behind it is just really giving people a space to really tell their story of the passion and the vision behind their business. And yeah, please talk more about it.
Yeah. So, Bio Bismarck Mandan came about actually years of just thinking and working with business owners and hearing the back end of their story, like in the studio, the ins and outs, the hurdles, the valleys, the mountains, and all the successes and failures. And it's just like, it's so fun to hear that. I'm a student of story. I love hearing people's stories. But I wanted to not only highlight them in a photograph, but learn how, or, not learn, but have an opportunity to help them tell their story to the masses. So I partnered with some friends of mine from my hometown, and they had put this out in their area, and so I brought it to Bismarck Mandan last year. So it's been hugely rewarding, a lot of work, a lot of just, territory I hadn't been in before, but just hugely rewarding. I'm super excited about 2025 and all of our advertising coming in. But yeah, it's just a fun way to tell your story and have a nice like billboard on print.
Yeah. And the magazines they're different businesses, right? They're free, and you kind of have distributed them.
Yes.
Across the city.
Yeah. So my team came up and we put them in like 250 locations when we launched this last year. And I just continue to sprinkle them out as we go and replenish them. And
cool.
It's online as well, so it's super simple to find. And I think what's kind of neat about having an advertiser in print is you might not remember their name, but you can go, I saw them in Bio.
Yeah.
And then you can go online and you can just
and you can find it. Yeah.
And I think people resonate when they hear your story more so than just like what services you provide. Because
yes, 100%.
And people want to invest in who you are as a person, as a small business owner, as a industry. Whereas if you just want to hide behind your logos and your services, you might not get the same people to come in to invest in you.
Yeah. And that's why I love it too, because I love telling stories. I love hearing stories. That's where the inspiration, like, I think that's where inspiration comes from, and that's where you're really inspiring people and creating community.
Yeah.
And I love that we share that same heart. And I know the Bismarck community, there's so many business owners here that share that same heart as well. If you are watching, I just want to show you just an example, because it makes you want to like read the stories. I don't know if you can really see it, but of course, Rachel's photography is beautiful, and how it's laid out, and just that you really do get to read the stories behind the businesses or the people. And it's like I said, it's not always that often where you pick up something that's kind of an advertisement and you want to read everything. But this makes me want to read everything. Just, it's visually appealing and it's not fluffy, if I can use that word. So the stories that you're reading about the businesses, they aren't fluffy. It really does speak to their heart, or why they started, or why they have passion for what they're doing. And so that's why I love it, and why we wanted to be a part of it as well. So I'm excited about that.
Super excited to have you on board. And it's super fun. And it's cover to cover stories of actual people.
Yeah.
And business owners and community leaders. So it's and something that we do is we write them and I shoot them all. So it just kind of levels the playing field, and people aren't submitting random stories and things. So
yep, I like that. So I think that speaks to what I've always loved about you, Rachel, is that you're always looking to expand. and learn new things. Because I imagine doing something like bio, like that was a little bit out of your wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
And so you're just not scared to take on a challenge. And if you feel like it's, it's something God is like, you should do this, you're doing it. And I think that's why I've so valued so many of our conversations. And like I said, I find you incredibly inspiring and easy to cry with and laugh with. I'll say that. But yeah, I guess, is there anything else that you want to like share with the audience? I mean, I have questions I can ask you, but I just want, if there's something on your heart that you want to share.
I guess it would just maybe be this, kind of back to our like where God has gifted us and how we're using it. Just a short time ago, I had the opportunity to pray with a gal who came in for a quick headshot and wasn't even supposed to be there. And I was asking her about her family, as I do through all my shoots, and she kind of shared with me just an experience she was having with her little kids, and just being concerned that maybe she was too harsh or not patient enough or something like that. Anyway, God just kind of opened the opportunity, but I was just like, oh, we were just all raised by different generations of people, and we're all just trying to do better, and like God's just giving us the grace to do that the best we can. And I turn around and she's in tears, and so I stopped the shoot and I said, you need a hug, don't you? You don't need focus. And so we hugged, and God just gave me the opportunity to pray with her and just encourage her and speak life into her in that situation. It was just such a beautiful thing. And then at the afterwards, we were visiting, and she said, it's like God just, or it's like you just saw into my soul, is how she said it. And I'm like, I go, you weren't here by chance. God brought you to me today for this purpose. And then I said, and the crazy thing is that I've been asking God to give me more opportunities to like this. And so I might have been an answer to your prayer, but you were an answer to mine. And so here's where I get emotional. But I told my husband that I'd been praying for this, and it's just it's so good to just know that what we're doing, like the delivery might be different. It's not about the delivery, it's about delivering.
Yeah.
Like it might not be the email or the text message or the FedEx guy, but the important part is that we're delivering. And so, yeah, I just wanted to encourage your listeners that they might be in an industry or a job where they don't feel comfortable to do that, and or feel like they have the opportunity to, but God has placed them in their industry and their opportunities, and He will open doors if they're willing.
Yes.
So,
amen. Yeah, that was a good message.
and I could share more about instances like that, but it's just like sometimes I just feel like I go through a season where I'm like, God, where are you? Like, am I doing the right thing? Photography is an investment. The studio is an investment. Everything I do, it feels like such an investment, but, and sometimes I'm like, am I benefiting from this investment? But then God brings me back to these moments where He's like, I gave you this gift and I want you to share it. And whether that means I have a studio someday soon or not, He's just going to give me the opportunities to encourage people and hopefully more opportunities to pray with people.
That so resonates because, business, when you view your business as a ministry too, like we both do. You still have to run a business, or you have to, the reality of the world is any sort of business. Yeah. It takes money. And I think where I have found myself often is asking the same questions that you just said. And it's so interesting. It's not interesting. It's so God. But when I'm having those doubts, or I'm like, are we making a difference? Is this worth it? All those things, right, that come through. God will bring somebody in. Maybe it's a friend like you. Maybe it's a complete stranger. And they will either share something that we've done here that has encouraged them or ministered to them, or they will just speak this word of encouragement that so hits home that there's no way they could even know to say. This happens often with strangers, that it's so clear that is like basically God speaking through them to encourage, us to keep going, and to just look for those opportunities to minister, because that's why we're here. We're here to love people, and to speak encouragement to them. And sometimes it's just a hug, and sometimes that hug opens the floodgates.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're trying to minister to someone, or we think we're ministering, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm being ministered to in this moment as well. And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And those are the moments we always have to go back to, and we always have to remember and stand in faith on. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't ever want to be a person that just is, just floating through life, like trying to survive day till the next day.
Yeah.
I want to be impactful, and legacy matters.
Yes.
I mean, 100%. I just
100%.
believe that following what God's plans are for my life more than my own.
Yes. Yeah.
Is going to be impactful for my children and for their kids. Just walking in obedience and stewarding my gifts, and I might never see the impact, but it's there.
But it's there. Yeah.
I know it's there.
Yes.
So
it's beautiful. Can you see why I love her? Oh my gosh. I could go on, and I will have you back on at some point, because there's so much more. I feel like we didn't get to it all. But
to say that you're just such a beautiful person and so easy to talk to.
Ditto.
Your spirit is amazing. You have just such a beautiful spirit in the heart of God. So appreciate seeing that in you.
Thank you. And I think that's why we've connected, because you have the same in you. And so I think it goes back to just never underestimate the impact you're having on someone's life. That's a good lesson for anyone listening. You don't always know just how important it is just to sit with someone. And it's why, like I said before, we don't get to see each other a ton, but every single time it is it's like the right time.
Yeah.
Even if it's just for a moment, it's a light in the day.
Yeah.
And so thank you.
Yeah.
Stop it.
And God strategically put you like 5 minutes from my studio.
Yes.
That's literally the quickest coffee break that I could have. So it's such a God thing that you're here and that we met. So
I love it. I love it, because I don't would have never envisioned this spot for 12 Stones. And you just, through conversations like this, it just continues to just be so obvious that, well, I maybe didn't see this spot, but God definitely had a plan, because this wasn't the original plan.
Yeah.
But it was a better plan.
Yeah. God has the original plans.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I so enjoyed this. But I guess I have to awkwardly bring it to an end. That's like, I'm really good at awkward goodbyes, if you know me. So,
yeah, we're usually like, and before you go,
totally.
Okay, really the last thing I'm going to say is,
that's very true. So thank you again. Truly, thank you for listening or watching or both, whatever you did. And be blessed. Till next time.
Bye.